Hello and welcome to Point of View. I am Wasbir Hussain. What we are witnessing now, viewers, are white-collar terror modules with direct links to Pakistan. It is almost clear now that after Operation Sindoor battering at the hands of India, the Pakistani state and its terror accomplices are bent on launching an all-out proxy war on India. Zeroing in on few dates would help us understand the run-up to yesterday evening's blast in Delhi that had killed 13 people and injured several others. It was on October 27th that a medical doctor, Dr. 𝗪𝗓𝗪 𝗪𝗏, was seen putting up posters supporting the terror group 𝗧𝗍𝗍 in Srinagar. He was arrested from Saharanpur in Uttar Pradesh last week. 𝗪𝗏's interrogation led the police to the seizure of 2,900 kilograms of improvised IED making materials in Faridabad. It was found that Dr. Muhammad Umar was a key member of the Faridabad module. He was also a medical doctor who had earlier sacked from his position in an institution in Kashmir for medical negligence. These materials were recovered from the premises of another doctor, Muzammil Shakil, who has also been arrested. Shakil hails from Pulwama and works in Faridabad. So, the Faridabad terror module that was busted was directly linked to the Jaish-e-Mohammed and Ansar Ghazwat-ul-Hind, an Al-Qaeda affiliated terror group that was fighting for an independent Kashmir. Now, it is said that the car that blew up yesterday near the Red Fort was actually driven by Dr. Muhammad Umar, who perhaps panicked after the arrest of his associates, particularly Dr. Muzammil Shakil in Faridabad the previous day. So, it looks like a suicide attack carried out by a desperate doctor, in this case Dr. Umar, who is believed to be the lone occupant of that I-20 car that blew up and led to the disaster near the Red Fort. Now, the big question is, has the white-collar terror ecosystem taken shape and involves radicalized professionals and students who are being directed by Pakistani handlers as well as by handlers based in other countries? I have an esteemed panel tonight to discuss whether India is once again in the radar of Pak-sponsored terrorists. Joining me tonight from Noida is Ambassador Rajiv Bhatia, Distinguished Fellow at the Gateway House and one of India's most distinguished former diplomats. I have with me Dr. Ajay Sahni, Executive Director of the Delhi-based Institute of Conflict Management, who is a well-known terrorism analyst. And from Guwahati, I am joined by Lieutenant General retired Rana Pratap Kalita, former Army Commander of the Eastern Command, a highly decorated Army officer. Gentlemen, welcome to Point of View. Let me first go to Dr. Ajay Sahni. Since you have been analyzing terrorism for decades now, before I get into a diplomat's view and then a military point of view, first from you, Dr. Sahni, what do you make of yesterday's blasts in New Delhi and the events preceding it, right from the day that Dr. 𝗪𝗏 was seen plastering the walls of certain localities in Srinagar with posters owing allegiance or supporting the Jaish-e-Mohammed?
If I may address your introductory remarks first. You see, professionals have been involved in terrorism right from the beginning. This is not the first time. What is interesting, of course, in this particular case is the apparent linkages between the crystallization of a group of multiple doctors. Now, this can happen as a purely accidental development, in the sense that I am within a community and I form linkages with others of similar views within the same medical community. So I think this is not something that represents any dramatic or strategic shift, that now suddenly we will have lots of doctors or we will have lots of engineers doing this. We've always had educated individuals, particularly in organizational leadership, and even suicide bombers in the past have been drawn from educated backgrounds. So we mustn't read too much into that. What we must read into is this abrupt clustering. This is unusual. You usually have one or two of such individuals involved in a larger organization. Whereas here we suddenly have this cluster. Over here we have others in other parts of the country. For instance, in Gujarat, you've had the arrest of another doctor in another case. So this does raise certain questions. As far as this incident is concerned, I think you've given a broad overview, and I think this was a hastily executed project in the sense that most likely this Dr. Umar Nabi came under pressure because of the arrest of other individuals connected with his extended grouping, and was forced to perhaps assemble a less than effective or efficient explosive device, because preliminary, I think, investigations indicate that there were no shrapnel elements there, no ball bearings or nails, which would be normal to maximize the impact of the explosive device.
Right.
So one would think done in a bit of a hurry in order to get away from
Right.
pursuing intelligence and police forces.
Right, and we have also. I'm coming to you, Ambassador Bhatia. I have also to add here Dr. 𝗪𝗓𝗓, who is supposed to be the girlfriend, if I may use the word, of Mohammed Shakil. Now she has also been arrested. She's a Lucknow-based doctor, Dr. 𝗪𝗓𝗓, and she was also linked with that explosive haul in Faridabad, because from her car also AK-47 rifle, pistols, etc. were recovered. And what is sinister about this Dr. 𝗪𝗓𝗓 is that she was handed over the command of the 𝗧𝗍𝗍, apparently the 𝗧𝗍𝗍 Muhammad's women's wing in India, that is 𝗪𝗓𝗓𝗪𝗓𝗡, which is headed by JEM founder Masood Azhar's sister Sadia Azhar in Pakistan. So this we will wait for details emerging, because today also the anti-terror task force was at the residence of Dr. 𝗪𝗓𝗓𝗓, and she was supposed to have taken over the command of the JEM's women's wing. So, Ambassador Bhatia, do you see a link that Pakistan is working overtime ever since Operation Sindoor? Do you think Pakistan has been working overtime ever since Operation Sindoor, making India its target? And most of reports which we have been looking at since yesterday's blast says that they started recruitment, putting together this group sometime in the month of October, that is only last month.
Thank you very much, Wasbir. Thank you for inviting me on this important program.
Welcome.
And even though it may sound, but I think it's necessary for us to express our deep regret over the loss of lives and people who have been injured and wounded, and the families who have been affected deeply. While considering how to respond to your direct question, I also wanted to make another prefatory comment, which is that since yesterday, the authorities have been out in the front handling the crisis. The agencies and police were there within minutes. Political leadership is visible. Home Minister has taken very proactive actions. And Prime Minister himself has assured the nation that all those who are responsible for this will be brought to justice. So in that larger backdrop, if you allow me, I would be somewhat reticent in terms of answering your question.
Yes.
Because really it is for our authorities, our agencies to share with the nation whether there is a clear manifest external angle or not. Obviously, you have already brought out how internal dimensions are playing into this very sinister plot. That is bad enough. But if on top of that there is a direct or indirect, implicit or explicit external dimension, then this terrorist act, its seemingly terrorist act, would become something very serious and very grave in light of the recent developments in course of the year. So I think what I essentially would like to convey to you at this stage, and through you to your viewers, that it's the tragedy which is unfolded yesterday in Delhi It was after a long welcome gap when there was no terrorist activity in the Indian capital. But now it has unfolded, it has taken place. It has taken place right in front of the Red Fort. It has its own symbolic and historical meaning. And I think, assure you, sitting here at the door of the capital, that the government and authorities are going to handle this with utmost seriousness and with
Absolutely.
utmost sense of responsibility.
Absolutely, absolutely. We'll play that bite of the Prime Minister immediately after I get a response from General 𝗪𝗶𝗃𝗪, former Eastern Army commander. General Kalita, I mean, as Ambassador Bhatia was saying, that it is after a long welcome gap that Delhi has once again witnessed terror, but we don't want to witness any kind of terrorism. What do you make of this? The first question we asked Dr. Sani. What do you make of these developments? And all these doctors, a chain of doctors getting involved, a chain of medical institutions. All these people are working in one of the institutes. That's the common factor. What is going on? What do you make of this?
Firstly, thank you, Wasbir, for having me on this show. And through your channel, I would like to offer my condolences to the people who have lost their life in this particular incident. And I wish a speedy recovery to the people who are injured. Firstly, this is not the first time the professionals have been used by the extremist elements. Earlier also they had been trying to radicalize and utilize the professional, but involvement of so many doctors like Dr. Sani had brought out is definitely a new thing to have happened. And this white collar module which has been unearthed in Faridabad with its involvement in the blast, definitely we are in contact with their handlers, but it has not been come out as yet. It has not come out as yet whether these handlers were across the border or who were they. So that linkage is yet to be established. So that once that is established, then you will come to know who are behind this dastardly act. But one thing I would like to bring out is, as of now, whatever has come out, the linkage to the Jammu and Kashmir, and most of the people are either from Jammu and Kashmir or in other parts of the country. It gives a fillip to the Pak narrative of homegrown terror that is prevalent in India. That's something which we need to be cognizant of. And second thing is, to my mind, these terror attacks are a manifestation of increased radicalization and thriving terror ecosystem which persist despite lot of kinetic and non-kinetic measures which have been able to improve the security situation in Jammu and Kashmir as such. But the radicalization and the ecosystem continues to thrive. That is something which is a cause of concern. But
Right.
having said that, let me also say that the number of the amount of ammonium nitrate that was found out, that was discovered, and other circuits, electronic circuits and the remotes and all. So these are indicative of many more such attacks possibly could have taken place. But timely unearthing of these explosives and this module is definitely a big achievement for the security organizations, and we must give credit to Jammu and Kashmir Police and all other agencies who are involved in these particular operations.
Absolutely. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is on a 2-day visit to Bhutan starting this morning, he has sent out a strong warning to those behind a deadly blast in New Delhi. Speaking in Thimphu, the Prime Minister vowed that the agencies in the country would go to the bottom of the attack and warned that those responsible will not be spared. He said that those behind the conspiracy won't be spared and those responsible will be brought to justice. Let's listen in to what Prime Minister Narendra Modi said in Thimphu with the Bhutanese monarch King 𝗔𝗡𝗪 Namgyal Wangchuk standing beside him.
कल शाम दिल्ली में हुई भयावह घटना ने सभी के मन को व्यथित कर दिया है। मैं पीड़ित परिवारों का दुख समझता हूं। आज पूरा देश उनके साथ खड़ा है। मैं कल रात भर इस घटना की जांच में जुटी सभी एजेंसियों के साथ, सभी महत्वपूर्ण लोगों के साथ संपर्क में था, विचार विमर्श चलता था, जानकारियों के तार जोड़े जा रहे थे। हमारी एजेंसियां इस षड्यंत्र की तह तक जाएगी। इसके पीछे के षड्यंत्रकारियों को बख्शा नहीं जाएगा। All those responsible will be brought to justice.
All those responsible will be brought to justice. This was Prime Minister Narendra Modi's stern warning from our close ally and neighbor Bhutan. He is speaking after attending the 70th anniversary celebrations of the Bhutan's fourth king, the present king's father, 𝗔𝗡𝗓 Wasbir at a function in Thimphu this morning. Let's have everybody on the panel. Dr. Ajay Sahni, for preliminary forensic reports suggested that the ammonium nitrate that was seized in Faridabad, whatever is the amount, 360, 350 kilograms, etc. Somebody is saying that 2,900 kilograms of explosives, but basically it was ammonium nitrate. A large quantity of ammonium nitrate has been seized. Now, preliminary forensic investigations have revealed that the ammonium nitrate traces found in the Delhi blast were similar to the ammonium nitrate which was recovered in Faridabad, and there are traces of what is called the ANFO. As you know better than me, ammonium nitrate as such is not an explosive, but when used or mixed or in a cocktail with fuel oil, it becomes a highly potent explosive. What does this mean? This looks like some kind of an improvised job. Does it look like a job by Kashmir-based militants with the backing of the Pakistanis? What do you think initially?
Look, first of all, the link between the explosive in the Delhi blast and the explosives recovered from Faridabad, at least officially, has not been confirmed. There are a lot of reports ongoing in the media. These may be leaks from reliable sources, I do not know, but no official confirmation has yet come. So I think we should qualify our assertions over there. As far as the ANFO explosives are concerned, or the use of ammonium nitrate for explosives, this has become one of the most common, shall we say, explosives used almost worldwide, because ammonium nitrate is freely available as a fertilizer. So it becomes very easy to acquire. I do not think we can, on the basis simply of the fact that ammonium nitrate is being used to rig an explosive device, come to a conclusion that this is linked with Group A or Group B or Group C, because very simply put, this is just probably the most widely used explosive by terrorists across the world, and the reason for that is the very ease of acquisition.
Right, and
it's a legal.
Before I go to Ambassador, Dr. Sahni, what do you think of this? One of the main accused, that is Dr. Mohammad Shakil, from whose house that huge quantity of explosive materials were seized, including assault rifles and so on. Now, this whole Faridabad module is said to be linked to the Jaish-e-Mohammed and this so-called Ansar Ghazwat-ul-Hind, who is supposed to be an Al-Qaeda affiliated terrorist group active in Kashmir. That is point number one. And point number two, what do you think of reports, now reliable reports coming in, that this lady, Shaheen Shahid, who is also in police custody, who was also working working at the 𝗪𝗓𝗪 University in Faridabad and supposed to be Dr. 𝗪𝗓𝗪 Shakil's girlfriend. She was supposed to have been handed over the command of the JEM's women's wing in India.
Again, I think much of this is speculative. None of this has been actually disclosed by the investigating agencies.
But is it a possibility? Is it a possibility that somebody in
Absolutely.
India?
It's a possibility, but I would like to add that there are equally large number of social media posts that are linking this module to the 𝗪𝗏𝗪. So I think much of it is speculative. We should wait for investigations to come to decisive conclusions.
Right.
You must remind yourself, no, it's very important to remind ourselves that even the government has made no assertion as yet that this is a terrorist attack. Yes, they have handed over the investigation to the National Investigation Agency, which suggests that it is a probable terrorist attack. But the government is being very conservative in what it is saying, and we should not be jumping the gun to definitive conclusions. However, you are right, it could be Jaish, it could be Lashkar. Most likely, given the pattern of attacks, given the nature of the people who are being identified in these seizures and in this attack in particular, it is likely that this is connected with the broad movement in Jammu Kashmir, which is sponsored and backed by the Pakistanis. So these linkages may be eventually proven or demonstrated. And we must wait for the government to make a
Official announcement.
decisive pronouncement.
Yes. Ambassador Bhatia, the one significant thing that our Prime Minister has said during his brief comment on the situation following the Delhi blast is that those behind a conspiracy won't be spared. He has used the word conspiracy. And he said that those responsible will be brought to justice. Obviously, that is understood. But the word conspiracy that the Prime Minister has used, because he uses the word obviously with a lot of, responsibility. Now, what could that mean, when he says that those behind conspiracy won't be spared?
Well, I think it's very evident that this attack, which took place yesterday in front of the Red Fort, did have a considerable degree of planning, in terms of the use of people, the transport mechanism, the mechanism that created the explosion, the timing. So, the whole thing indicates very much a plan and a conspiracy. So I think the Prime Minister is talking very much of what he has seen, and he has taken a direct note and direct stock of the situation. I do agree with Sahni Sahab that this is the time when, on the one hand, people, that is public, and therefore the media, are very keen to know and get to the bottom of the story at the earliest possible moment. But on the other hand, those who are in power, the authorities, the people who are responsible, people who have more facts directly, and probably not all facts even they may still have. So it's a delicate situation. And really, we can go only by the government's authentic view as to what kind of conspiracy it is, who has hatched it, and most importantly, whether it has only internal dimensions or both internal and external dimensions. And dependent on that, the government's further strategy will be decided and announced soon. That is how I would look at it.
Right. General Kalita, one thing which is not directly linked to what we are witnessing in the last few days is that India demonstrated its Rafale jets and all, which Pakistan said were shot down with the, tail numbers and all that. This was demonstrated at a public event a couple of weeks ago. That is point number one. Point number two, before I ask you the question, is that India has not officially said that Operation Sindoor has ended. India has never, not yet, even the military establishment has not said for sure that Operation Sindoor has ended. They said that Operation Sindoor has not ended. Do you think there could be, the Pakistanis could be actually wary of the fact that, and they want to come up with some kind of preemptive strikes and directly back proxy wars, intensify the proxy wars within the country, utilizing local resources?
You see, Op Sindoor, which was India's calibrated military response to the Pahalgam attack, so that definitely thing remained with Pakistan, and the damage to the or losses to the terror infrastructure that was suffered during Op Sindoor, as well as to the military infrastructure during those 4 days, has been tremendous, which has been spoken of since it happened. So definitely they are smarting from that from those losses, and they would do anything like they have been doing since independence. Any anti-India activities, cross-border terrorism, proxy war. That's a proxy war is their state policy that they have been following right from beginning. So that is not going to go away soon. So the new normal, which was brought in place during Op Sindoor, and the government policy of any act of terror being construed as an act of war. So that is something we have to see. That so our India's response to this particular situation, once the linkages are established, that is something we will have to see. But while at this, let me also bring out that we also know that today there was a car blast is near a court in Islamabad,
yes,
which also killed about 12 people. And Pakistani PM is on record, has said that he has blamed India for that particular thing. So all these linkages and trying to link that to India being the sponsor of such terrorism, and trying to find a way out in international media glare that they are not involved, whereas India is involved. So those sort of games are being continuously played by the Pakistan side.
Right.
So we'll have to wait and see how, once the linkages are established, how it goes.
Absolutely, and we see that the government has been treating very cautiously, as Dr. Shani and Ambassador Bhatia have also pointed out. So we need to wait really for more official confirmation to some of the facts that we are talking about. But we have to discuss different aspects and possibilities. That's what we are doing at the moment. Well, I'll go for a very, very short commercial break. Please don't go away. I'll be right back. Welcome back. You are watching Point of View with me, Wasbir Hussain. Let me go straight to Dr. Sani. Dr. Sani, yes, I fully agree with you that we need not jump the gun because there's so much of news, flow both in the mainstream media as well as the social media. But still, I want to ask you this direct question: do you think if it is not an act of terror? If it is not an act of terror, now how could we have such a devastating blast? Multiple vehicles charred, shops getting burnt, the blast having an impact at a great distance, 13 people killed, several injured, and somebody is saying that this could have been ANFO, this could have been even a sticky bomb, and sticky bombs, as you know, as we all know, are used in a different context these days. These are used in improvised explosive devices which are rather stuck to the body of a vehicle, either with a magnet or with an adhesive tape, for a greater devastating impact. Now, if it is not a terrorist attack, could it be a simple, how do you explain such a blast and that has led to such heavy casualties?
I don't think there is very much doubt that this is a terrorist attack. The question that is more relevant is, what is the nature of the terrorist attack? Is it an individual who has done this? Very large conspiracies. I mean, if you go back to the United States, the Oklahoma bombings, were the work of just one single individual. They brought down the entire building, the Murray building, I believe it was called. Timothy McVeigh was the person. So this could be just one individual doing it. It could be this larger but domestic conspiracy. It could be something that is tied to the larger Kashmir movement. It could be something tied to the Kashmir movement and handled and managed entirely by the Pakistani intelligence establishment. Those are the things that are to be investigated. Beyond that, I mean, preliminary reports seem to say, speculate that this could be a cylinder blast. A lot of vehicles nowadays are fueled by
CNG.
CNG. So that is, a cylinder blast can be very, very devastating. But that does not seem to be the case, because a cylinder blast would also include a significant amount of shrapnel due to the disintegrating cylinder itself and the vehicle parts of the vehicle disintegrating. So I don't think we are seriously saying that this is not a terrorist attack. What we are saying is, what is the nature and the dimensions of what is behind the terrorist attack? As I said, individual, domestic, collective, trans-state, or international, with support from the Pakistani establishment.
Absolutely.
That is what the government established, and it becomes very important for the government to hold back on this, because while it has made the statement in general that any act of terror will be seen as an act of war, in order for it to actually interpret it as an act of war, it would need to link the terrorist incident to Pakistani sponsorship. Then it becomes an act of war. If it is a domestic terrorist act by an individual or even by a small conspiratorial group, it would not constitute an act of war in the context of Operation Sindoor, of what was done then and what was announced thereafter.
Yeah, to determine that, we have to wait for how the investigations proceed and what it leads to, what are the findings of this investigation. There are multiple agencies investigating this case. Let me ask a question that is relevant to a diplomat on this panel. Let me ask Ambassador Bhatia. It's not linked to the immediate issue that we are discussing. My general question to you, Ambassador Bhatia, is that do you get a sense that Pakistan has got a moral boost due to the latest, support, if I may use the word, quote unquote, that it is receiving from the United States? In the last 2-3 months, you have seen Asim Munir, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, meeting President Trump at, if I may use the word, at regular intervals. 2-3 meetings have already taken place. Do you think Pakistan is getting some kind of a moral boost, thinking that, the United States is behind us and we can really flex our muscles now a little bit more?
You see, while I'm not really an expert on Pakistan, my friends who are keep maintaining that Pakistan is actually passing through a very difficult economic situation. They have also a full-scale hostilities going on with Afghanistan, which has stopped for a while and could resume again. And then they have, a series of incidents happening inside their home as well. That is the ugly reality of Pakistan. In that background, what you have said is also a phenomenon that we have to take note of. And I think everybody who watches Pakistan has observed that there is a certain degree of special connection that has been established between Islamabad, or more precisely Rawalpindi, and Washington. This does not really go very well with other neighbors of Pakistan. And so we have to factor this in terms of our approach to our neighborhood. I think Delhi, and particularly Ministry of Foreign Affairs, is very much aware of it and is seized with that matter. And I have no doubt, as Sani Saab said again, the moment the nature of the terrorist attack becomes clear, internal, external, or a mixture of both, India's strategy will be announced and unfolding very rapidly. Let's be very clear. Counter-terrorism is an integral dimension of India's foreign policy and
Right.
diplomacy.
Right.
We are very much looking at the forthcoming opportunities. You know, the G20 summit is about to take place in Johannesburg. President Putin is about to undertake a major visit to India. There are other diplomatic opportunities. And therefore, I'm sure the government is or maybe pressing the agencies and police to reach some conclusions as fast as possible.
Absolutely. Again, you'll have to wait and watch on that and see how it unfolds, as I have been saying, or we all have been saying. Let me go to you, General Kalita. As a military man, I'm asking you the same question. You see, the Pakistan's so-called field marshal meeting the President of the United States 2 or 3 times in a couple of months. What does it mean? How do you look at it, as a military man yourself? And do you think they're getting some kind of a confidence that, okay, I have direct access to the President of the United States and so on?
You see, yeah, that's true. Pakistan, as you know, has been a state that is being run by the Pak military, and a basic relevance of Pak military comes from its strong anti-India stance that has been there since independence, and the proxy war it runs against India. And Pakistan has been helping out, or say a proxy for US in Afghanistan and in other places also that we all are aware of. But recent happenings of growing proximity of Pakistan military leadership with the US leadership is something we all have been reading various media reports, the likely causes, those rare earth materials that are available in Pakistan, that deal regarding that, and some Bitcoin deal that is also come into focus. So these are also some of the things which we have read in the various media reports. But as a military man, what I would see is definitely the Field Marshal has got a fillip because of his growing proximity with the US President. Definitely that's going to guide some of his actions, whether it is anti-India actions or it's related to other areas as well. While at this, I would also like to bring out a point about the question you had asked Dr. Sahni about the nature of terror attack, whether my view is that while it is yet to be finalized or exact lead onto whether external dimensions are involved or not, but the amount of explosives that were seized and the number of people that are involved from various different parts of the country in this particular terror module, and the possible damage this whole lot of explosives and these initiating mechanisms could have done is something which cannot be probably perpetrated by an individual group of doctors. So there has to be some conspirators, some minds behind this particular terror plot, and I'm sure they were aiming to target multiple places, possibly in Delhi or in other areas as well. So this particular knee-jerk sort of blast which had taken place as brought out in various reports, possibly he panicked and then that's how the blast was caused, since everybody was looking for him after unearthing of the terror module at Faridabad. So that's my view as far as this is concerned. There are definitely some conspirators who are involved and who are handling this particular terror module, who played a role in getting everything together.
Right. Let me take this to Dr. Azhar Sahni. Dr. Sahni, yes, nothing has been established so far, as you were saying. Now, as the general said, General Kalita was saying that, the fact that raids were conducted, the modules were busted, and 3,000 kilograms of explosive making materials have been recovered, including assault rifles, ammonium nitrate, and what say you. Now the point is, had this not been recovered, what could have been the extent of the damage? Point number one. Point number two, I want your thoughts. That fact that these are all people who we are talking about, whether it is Dr. Adil Ahmed Ratheer, who was seen putting up posters in Srinagar backing the Jaish-e-Mohammed, whether it was Dr. Muhammad Umar, who was supposed to have been the suicide attacker, we don't know, whether it is that lady Dr. Sahin, or whether it is Muhammad Shakil. These are not. These are people from Kashmir. So does it also indicate that homegrown terror in the Kashmir Valley is once again raising its head? Whether they are backed by the external forces, let's not talk about that. We need not be bothered, because we will hear from the government sooner than later.
You see, the quantities of explosive materials seized, whatever the authoritative figure, they are in the many hundreds of kilograms from different, not just Faridabad, but from different locations. And the damage that they could do is tremendous. I think General Kalita had mentioned earlier that we need to congratulate the intelligence agencies for having prevented what could have been a much, much larger tragedy. I would like to add over here something. At least 82 people, this is South Asia Terrorism Portal data, at least 82 persons have been arrested for Islamist terrorist conspiracies across India outside Jammu and Kashmir in this year. Another 80 persons were arrested last year. And this is a continuous process. It is ongoing. So we must understand that there is a residual threat of terrorism across the country. It's not just
from
this
within.
may have
From
Kashmiris
within.
involved.
From within,
there was an Andhra doctor involved in, sorry?
From within, you are saying, from within.
From within. Now, many of these individuals who have been arrested have been in touch with persons abroad. These persons may, some of them are, for instance, supposed to be linked to the Islamic State, others are linked to Pakistani-backed terrorist organizations, others are linked to people who are known by our agencies to be intelligence operatives of the ISI. So these linkages are there. There is an undercurrent, but I think we should also place all this that we are talking about within the context of Islamist terrorism in India over the last several decades, and recognize that it has gone from a situation where you had in Jammu Kashmir 4,000 plus people killed in a single year, outside Jammu Kashmir 800 plus people killed in a single year, and it has come down to over the last decade or so, we've had at least 5 zero fatality years. And you have other years with 1 and 2 fatalities. So we must recognize that on the one hand, as long as Pakistan's intentions don't change, there will always be a residual risk. There are others who will be inspired by global Islamist ideologies, Islamic State, Al-Qaeda and all, and who will carry on trying to do things. We must also understand that the problem has been very substantially contained by our responses and our efforts. Where we were, as I said, talking about thousands and hundreds of fatalities in different theaters, we have come down to a very, very small, comparatively very small.
Right. Ambassador Bhatia, that's a very, very significant point that Dr. Ajay Sahni has brought out. These are South Asia Terrorism Portal figures, I think one of the most reliable figures outside of the government in the country today. Now, 82 arrested for Islamist terror activities outside Jammu and Kashmir this year so far, and about 80 people arrested last year for Islamist terror activities, again outside J&K. And the other major point that Dr. Sahni has brought out is that from fatalities as high as 4,000 plus, we have had at least 4 to 5 years where there were 0 fatalities. So that means our system somewhere is actually working, and people are not particularly happy about that, certain people.
No, I'm confident that our system is indeed working. There has to be, first of all, the preventive side of the action, and then there is the reactive side of the action, and simultaneously, obviously, serious intelligence campaign as well. So I think there is a widely shared belief that our authorities are doing their best to counter and contain this menace. And I think when we talk about the various layers of terrorist activities, confined to several different segments, Kashmir, Pakistan, international Islamic movement, domestically grown thoughts and campaigns, then it becomes clear that it's a very complex phenomenon. It's not a simple 2 plus 2 is 4 kind of situation. I think only the specialists really have a clear and full idea of this. As you know, from my very limited perspective, the diplomatic dimension, counterterrorism has become a very major international issue, and this is largely due to India's sustained efforts over a long period of time. And you will see it again that in any major interaction India has, whether bilaterally, regionally, or internationally, this particular theme, this particular concern is very widely highlighted, and the international community's support for India's stand is solicited and obtained. So that approach is bound to continue.
Absolutely. General Kalita, I'm just a small aside. The Prime Minister was to make it to two-day trip to Bhutan this morning to attend various functions, including the 70th anniversary functions of the fourth king, inaugurating a major India-assisted hydroelectric project, so on and so forth, and one-to-one meeting with the King of Bhutan and so on. And also, of course, participate in the Global Peace Prayer Meeting. Global Peace Prayer Festival. That's how the Bhutanese call it. And there was the Buddha relics from India, facilitated by India. They have been now touring. They are currently in Bhutan. It was in Russia a few days ago or a few weeks ago. Now, yesterday we were talking, some of us were talking, somebody said, oh, in view of this Delhi blast, the Prime Minister is going to cancel the visit. I said, Prime Minister is not going to cancel the visit. Tomorrow he is definitely going to go to Bhutan. So that is what has happened. So what is the message that you are getting that a morning after a big blast that has shaken Delhi, 13 people dead, people are talking about various angles, various theories. The Prime Minister of India has embarked on a foreign trip, of course, to neighboring Bhutan. What message does it give?
I think Ambassador Bhatia would be better placed to respond to that. But to my mind, I think to put it very in short, the show must go on, as it is said. So there would be, we have been facing terrorism and such like incidents for a long time now. So the whole governance cannot come to a stop because these are pre-planned events, and I feel that unless there is a major emergency, these events must go on because the last minute cancellation causes a lot of issues, lot of problems, and Bhutan being an important neighbor, definitely there is a requirement of
the Prime Minister going there.
Prime Minister keeping his appointment.
Yeah, this I would like to request that both the other panelists also to respond to the same question. Before I come to Ambassador Bhatia, Dr. Sahni, what do you make of this? The Prime Minister going to Thimphu as scheduled the morning after the blast and coming up with a very strong statement from Thimphu.
Number one, I think it displays a certain projection of control. we don't have to overreact to every incident of this nature.
Yes.
Very honestly, while this is tragic outside Jammu and Kashmir, fatalities of this scale are fairly regularly recorded in Jammu Kashmir. They are also very regularly recorded in the Maoist belt, at least occasionally recorded in the Northeast as well. We can't suspend governance every time there is a major terrorist attack. And I think one of the gravest dangers, it is an established truth of counterterrorism that the worst risks of response to terrorism are either overreaction or underreaction. Both the extremes are problematic. Your reactions must always project control, they must project capacity, and I think that is what is sought to be done here.
Absolutely. Ambassador Bhatia, your thoughts on this?
Yes, I think three points come to my mind straight away. First of all, Prime Minister leaving for Bhutan the next day. This shows confidence on part of him in the system that operates in India. He has done what he had to do, and he has given sufficient space to the Home Minister and the authorities and the agencies to handle the emergency or the calamity, and it is being done. In any case, wherever he is, he keeps a sharp eye on the governance at home. The second message is obviously, therefore, faith in the system that we have, faith in the people, in the police, in the intelligence agencies, and even in media, that we would handle this with a degree of responsibility. And the third point is also very important. I think, as you highlighted yourself, look at the contrast. There are people who are trying to heap violence on totally innocent civilian people. And there is the leader of India participating and presiding over the peace prayer globally. This is what India's real face is. India totally believes in peace and harmony. And when these bad things are done to us, we stand as one nation to counter it in the best possible manner. I think that was the symbol of this decision.
I have very little time. A final round of comments from all the three really esteemed panelists on my show tonight. General Kalita, your final comments. How do you think this incident in Delhi is going to pan out? It's again a hypothetical question, because journalists are known to ask hypothetical questions. This is one of our sustaining factors, General Kalita. Let me be frank about it. So how do you think the coming days are going to pan out after this Delhi incident?
See, there are, firstly, the first aim is to find out the possible involvement of the people who were responsible for this particular attack, in addition to the people who have already been caught. So that would be the prime job, and thereafter, based on that, once the linkages are established, I think the government is going to take a decision of how to respond and in what form and in what manner. And Cabinet Committee on Security is sitting tomorrow once the Honorable Prime Minister is back. I'm sure by then a lot of things will become clearer and they will be able to take decision.
Absolutely.
However, from my side as a military man, I would like to say that though kinetic measures would be required against certain possible actions or certain people, they definitely would be required. But what is also more important is the non-kinetic measures. In this, I would like to recommend that we need to neutralize the ecosystem, the terror ecosystem that's thriving in our country. Possibly, we need to target the financiers, we need to target the ideologues, we need to target the people who are going about recruiting such professionals.
Right.
By radicalizing them. We need to target the logisticians who are providing this such type of support. So that is becoming more important now
Absolutely.
because the nature of when terror attacks or the how to carry out this terror attack, how to drive this terror attack is also changing very fast.
Right. Very quickly, Dr. Sani, your final comments, please.
I'd like to just emphasize one thing. No country in the world can have a zero terrorism as a reality. Countries which are far better equipped, far better resourced, with far better systems in place, still are vulnerable. Even the Scandinavian countries, which are welfare countries, which try to meet every aspiration of their populations, have been targeted by terrorism. So this residual risk will remain, and we must recognize how much has been achieved by our security forces and our intelligence agencies. And we must continue to enhance their resources, their capacities and capabilities, because that is the permanent defense. Our problem tends to be that once things settle down, calm down a little, we think the problem's over. The problem is not over. It is not going to be over in a long time, particularly as long as Pakistan continues with what its intentions. I may add over here that immediately after the the Islamabad blast today, the Prime Minister of Pakistan blamed India. He said this is a state-sponsored terrorism, act of terrorism. So we must also ensure that we do not engage in this escalating rhetoric with the other side, and approach the entire issue with a sober mind, a balanced
Absolutely.
approach.
Final comments very quickly, Ambassador Bhatia, before I close.
Thank you very much. I think we only have to once again remember all those who have been killed and who have been wounded. There is a human aspect of this tragedy. And as far as the state is concerned, I'm very confident that a proper diagnosis and a proper remedy would follow soon.
All right, absolutely. These are very, very well-calibrated thoughts by the panelists on this show tonight. And yes, the top priority of the government is to find out whether these are these terrorists who have been involved in this kind of incidents, they're working alone from within or they have external dimensions. I'm sure we'll get to the bottom of the things. As the Prime Minister has said, the agencies will definitely not rest until they get to the bottom of the things. And he has also talked about bringing justice to this and also to bust the conspirators of this thing. But at the end of the day, as Dr. Sani and others have said, that the residual elements are going to remain, and we have to, we cannot afford to be complacent as far as dealing with terrorism is concerned. Of course, India has a zero tolerance to terrorism, but the fight against terror has to go on. I thank all my panelists, Dr. Ajay Sani, Ambassador Rajiv Bhatia, and Lieutenant General 𝗪𝗶𝗫𝗪 for joining me in this discussion tonight, and the viewers for watching the show. Good night and goodbye.